Welcome to my podcast. This is the first one. It's Monday, April 12th, and we are doing a podcast on YouTube. And a lot of people have been asking me, why am I doing a YouTube channel? I guess ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to be an actor. And I pictured myself in movies, things like that, and I never really did it. I just wanted to entertain. And YouTube has been an outlet to put your vision out there, entertain people how you want without other people editing it. And I don't want to be just me talking this entire time. So, Bree, what's the reason you decided to be on YouTube?
I just feel like with YouTube, it's just a very, brings in a lot of genuine people or personalities. And I think I find myself a lot more so watching YouTube than I do other outlets. And I find it very inspiring. I find a lot of videos or people that are very inspiring on YouTube. And I think in our free time, it's already even helped within the short couple months we've done it, bring a lot more creativity and positivity and direction. So at first, I'm not a camera person to be on camera, but now it's just become so fun to have that to look forward to every week, and it definitely with the fitness stuff keeps you accountable, on track.
Yeah, I think with me, the YouTube, I had written actually a feature-length film in college, and it was okay. My friends liked it, but if I made it, I don't know if it would hold up. And then I've also written a TV show, and where did I go to look at that? How do you sell a TV show? How do you get on HBO? How do you get on Netflix? It's all through YouTube. And YouTube is the second most search engine in the world behind Google. So it's crazy. And my thing with putting this content out there, it's really a time and place. Before I was not to sound cheesy, but I always felt like I was born at the wrong time. I was missing out. But with this, we're doing the weight loss stuff, and now we're doing a vlog, and I want to do more like this podcast. And we're doing it now. There's no edits. It's what we want to talk about. There's no one in a suit telling us we can't say this,
Yep.
or you got to smile more,
Yep.
or your hair in a ponytail is going to get more views. Fuck all those people. We have ideas for content. We're putting them out there. We started this in November, and now we're in April. Already 400 subscribers. If you subscribed, thank you. And we're finding an audience. We're carving it out. And it's just really exciting. And I want to thank you, Bree. Bree's a friend of mine. I met her 2.5 years ago. And I was in a weird place in my life. And I'm not going to speak to where you were, but you've been a lot of stability in my life. And then
I think we've just been super supportive of each other. It's and supportive in just kind of being just rays of light or people to talk to, that it's a very genuine friendship. And
right. Well, my thing is 4 months ago, so really what happened, the conversation started with Bree. She came over, she was helping me out with some things, and she caught me watching my show, which is Little People, Big World. And I've been watching that for 15 years. And it's just literally follows a family. I mean, their catch or their hook is that they're little people, but they have everyday problems. They're buying houses, they're having kids, they're just little. Divorces, the whole gambit. And my thing,
I think that was one of the cool things to see on that show is just how real.
Yeah. And my thing, it wasn't even a fascination with little people or different people.
No, it's not, yeah.
I've been fascinated with how normal people, different people,
yep.
choose their careers,
yep.
choose their spouse,
Sure.
live their life, their occupations. So my thing with this YouTube is I love it. I love the feedback. It's not that, well, maybe I am seeking attention, but so in my current web of people, I get feedback from 10 or 15 real people. With this, it's a world, if they want, can give me feedback. Hopefully it's positive.
Yeah.
And if it's
a lot of it is.
Yeah. And it has been so supportive with the weight loss. So I'll move on to that. I mean, I could go further and further on YouTube. I'm just thankful for this opportunity. And I will touch on YouTube a little bit more, because in November, where I was going with the Little People Big World is they're only putting out 6 episodes a year, and I would devour them. And it wasn't enough. And then last year, it might have been less than 6. And then I thought, who could I find to film on a reality TV show? How could we do that? And then I thought, why not us? And I think that's a lot of people. It's why not us? Mm-hmm. I'm not interesting enough. I'm not funny enough. I mean, I'm not a musician. I'm not super smart, but I'm living my life. And I plan to do this for the next 20 years. And right now we're starting this podcast on this crappy desk from Walmart that was $32 on folding chairs. And these aren't props. This is my life.
Oh, it's so good stuff.
Yeah. And it was literally a question I asked myself, why not me? Mm-hmm. I have ideas. I want to be successful. And then the successful YouTubers it's all been their camera work. They set up a tripod, they film themselves, it's one perspective. And I've always considered myself a storyteller, so I was like, I want a director. I want us both in the shot. And you disagreed with me a little bit. You were kind of like, we can do it ourselves, which we still do in the vlog and other things, but
just of what I've seen on YouTube.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot more people.
The most successful ones, they just did it on their own. They film it, it's basically just them, and they edit it.
Yeah.
And that's cool, but I think that can get a little bit boring. And my thing is, for me, I literally want to do this for at least 20 years, if not longer. It's not sustainable. So I could not film myself and you, or whatever it is, every week, then sit down for 10 hours every week and edit myself. It's too much. I would get burnt out. So I'm not a rich guy. I don't have a ton of money. I'm a bartender, but thank you. You're a great server and bartender. But my additional income, my supplemental income, I'm putting into YouTube. So I had a budget. I'm not going to talk numbers, but it's hundreds of dollars a week I spend on this. And I don't have the equipment. I don't have any of that. I did not know how to upload to YouTube. I still don't. So I go on Facebook. And I literally put it out there to my friends. Does anyone know a cinematographer? Does anyone know someone that would be interested in starting a YouTube channel? I get, boom, bunch of responses. I think I get 5 solid leads of people. I follow up with all of them. They go, yeah, sounds great. Each and every one of them said, I have the equipment, I can do it. What are you looking to do? And none of them either believe me or could comprehend, I want to do 2 to 3 videos a week for at least the next 3 years. And they go, oh yeah, I can do that. So my charge is $1,000 a day, $1,500 a day, $2,000 a day. So my entire budget I had at that time, they wanted for 1 day's shoot, 1 video. I'm not Fox Studios, I'm not Netflix, I'm not HBO. It's just, it's not sustainable. And after the 5th one, I was just super bummed out.
Yep.
And I think I told you my $2,000 or $3,000.
When you say arguing, at that point, it wasn't arguing me telling you to do it yourself.
Yeah.
I would see how bummed out you get. And
yeah.
Like, you can do this, and I could help, you can do this, like, with how bummed you out we were. I was just telling you, like, you can do this by yourself. Like,
And to let you out there know a little about Bree, she's a go-getter. And I tell her it can be to a fault, but like she makes me look lazy, and I can be, but I'm not. But it was up to Bree. She would literally do everything herself. In the restaurant, she would cook the food, bartend,
yeah, but
serve.
I also get told quite often, Bree, you have to work smarter, not harder.
And you do. And my thing, in my 38 years of life, you need to learn what you're good at. And then you need to learn to lean on other people that are good at things that you're not.
And it's not like I'm not good at, like, trusting or delegating.
Well, you need to work on that a little bit, but
But I do, like, when I train and stuff, and I definitely have, like, full trust that, like, yep, like, that person's gonna, you know, go. I don't sit there and, you know, watch everyone.
No, you do not crowd people, you do not micromanage.
Yeah.
But for yourself, like, you tend to be too hard on yourself, where other people could help out, and you're a hard worker. But where I'm going with that is I was really getting bummed out.
Yep.
So I was like, I need to extend the net. What's the next thing I know? Besides Facebook and Facebook Marketplace, it's Craigslist, where I've found jobs, I've found places to live. So I put it out there, and I try to be transparent with people. I'm not trying to take advantage of anyone. I have a dream. If you're in for the dream, I've told it to Bree. If you don't like this, don't do it. Like, if it's not worth your time, don't do it. So that's what I put out there on the internet. I said, I'm looking for someone who can direct my YouTube videos and edit them. And it went about 2 weeks, and I got responses. Oh, I even put on their compensation. So I can pay you, you know, $20 an hour. I'm looking for a couple videos a week. And the first couple responses were, that's super insulting. My time's worth over $100 an hour. I don't show up for less than $500 a day. And then it was the holidays. And the next response was, that is an insulting offer. I hope you die over the holidays.
What?
You piece of shit.
What?
So I almost gave up. I was like, I'm trying to be direct. Like, I'm looking for someone with even an early on skill set, even someone fresh out of college or in college. I'll pay them for their time, $20 an hour. Gas, I know it's not a lot of money. I'll pay double the minimum wage for someone who invests in it. And then I want them invested, so that's kind of the minimum. I will give them a percentage of the show because I want them to grow with me. I want them invested, so I'm getting someone consistent. Then Andy Poster replies, and he says, yep, sounds great. This is a great idea. I go, okay. All right, this guy's just probably another asshole. And I said, can you meet tomorrow? He's like, yep. What time? I was like, I'm available at 1. Yep, we're at.
This is making a lot more sense.
Yeah. I live in Monticello. How about we meet at Hawks? Yep. And then I meet up with him. He's there early. He shows up. I share with him the dream. I say, I have this friend, Bree. I'm trying to lose weight. I want to entertain people. Then we'll see where it goes from there. I'd like to do movies. I'd like to do TV shows. Yep. I'm like, all right, Bree, that was a really good meeting, but this guy's probably full of shit.
He should not say that.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I mean, you can only get disappointed so many times, but it was literally like, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to buy a computer.
He was like the first person you met too in person.
Yep.
I mean, it's just like crazy when like you don't even see things like kind of as blessings, and all of a sudden you look back and you're like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I was like, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to film it on my phone. I'll buy Bree a computer, or Bree can learn how to edit it, or I'll have to like literally cringe and edit myself, which I was not looking forward to. I go, Andy, can we shoot next week? Yep. He shows up early. We film. He comes with a $2,000 drone that he puts drone shots in anything that makes sense. $3,000 camera. Can you turn your phone off?
Yeah.
Or silence it? He comes with a $3,000 camera, a $5,000 laptop, and the know-how. So he had showed me like promo videos he did for companies, stuff like that. And for a corporate video that he does, and he's worth every penny, it's thousands of dollars. So I found someone that is buying into the dream. We started in November, it's April. We have over 400 subscribers. And that's without YouTube pushing our content. That's just us, people being supportive. Yeah. And I've never been more excited about anything in my life. Mm-hmm. So I guess the lesson I took out of it is if you really want something, like you got to put yourself out there. And we're not a success yet. I'm not patting myself on the back. But if you would have told me in November we had 400 subscribers and showed me one of the recent videos, I would have been blown away. And that's all Andy. And he's allowing me to create content. And I work with Bree, I work with Andy, and we'll throw stuff out there. And the three of us will discuss it. And if it makes sense, we'll do it. If it doesn't, there's no egos here. There's really not. Like, all I want is good content. I want to probably do this for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. So it's whatever's sustainable. So, all right. Sorry, I have a little notepad here just to keep us on topic. So I think what I'm going to do is, so I wanted a background for this podcast. You might be asking, why not just audio video? I like video. I like to see who's talking. Yep. I like the Joe Rogan experience. So he has video and audio. And who knows, in one day in the future, we might get guests, interesting people we'd like to talk to. I think that'd be very exciting. Mm-hmm. So then my next thing was, well, I can't just have a blank backdrop. It'll look like I'm in a prison cell. So what have I loved my entire life? What has gotten me through a lot of hard times? Movies. So I'll start with The Perfect Storm. And these will change throughout the months, hopefully years. And this is Bree's chair. So whatever poster Bree wants here, whatever's influencing her is going to be there. We'll get to that, but she introduced me to that movie, so that's why that's there.
I saw you put that up too. I was like, wow, you really like that movie. I mean, I really love that movie, but I was surprised how much you loved it.
Okay, so I'll talk about this one, and then you can maybe discuss why you like that. Yep. So I got The Perfect Storm. It might be the movie I've seen the most amount of times. I've seen it easily over 100 times. And the reason I made it the biggest is it ties into where I grew up, Alexandria, Minnesota. And the guy who plays Bugsy, he's kind of the loser character, which I can relate to, is John Hawkes. So it's a tie-in from where I grew up. A guy grew up there. I had the same teachers as him, and he went on to be in a...
Oh, actually?
Yeah, he went on to be The Perfect Storm, Deadwood. He's still a working actor. Everything I've heard about him is he's a great guy. And there's a second reason I picked this, is the lead character, played by George Clooney. He's a fishing captain, and he's just getting shit on his whole life. And you come into him, a time in his life in the story where no one believes in him anymore. And he's not catching fish. And the owner of the boat basically says, if you can't make this boat work and make money, I will find someone who can. So then he goes out, and everyone else is fishing the local area. He says, we're going out further to dangerous area. Fuck this guy. I'm making a living. No one's telling me I can't do it. And he goes out. He makes it happen. Some things happen. It's one of my favorite movies. I'm not going to ruin it for you. Check out The Perfect Storm. Do you want to talk about The Greatest Showman?
Yeah. So I heard about The Greyshulman probably 2 years ago. I mean, I definitely heard the songs. It was kind of like Frozen, where all of a sudden, boom, you're hearing all these songs. Like, why is everyone sharing these songs? And I love musicals. I love, grew up with Disney movies. And I think this one was Fox, but then, Disney ended up buying Fox, so now it's on Disney Plus. And I just clicked on it one day, and I was watching it with my mom, and we just like, it was like 10 o'clock at night. All of a sudden, it was like, 1 in the morning or midnight, and we're just like, that was a great movie.
And I will say, if you watch the first 5 minutes and your heart isn't racing,
yeah,
you're not a human being.
Yeah, and it's super colorful. All the characters super fun, and I don't know, like the cast. Like I think everyone's just very naturally talented singers, and Hugh Jackman is just awesome.
Yeah, that's great. And then the other one.
Was I supposed to describe what the movie is about?
You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
You can. Sure,
Okay.
Go ahead. Just don't give too much away, because it's a new movie.
Yeah, because it's about, like, I think some of the first circuses in America, or how some of the first circuses began.
Because he's P.T. Barnum or B.T. Barnum.
B.T.
B.T. Barnum. I think it's based on him.
Yeah.
Something Barnum.
We watched it like 10 times. I can't remember his name.
Yep.
But yeah, it's about the Barnum circuses and basically like how they started. And it's him just like trying to settle a family in New York, and he's like, what am I going to do to get my family money? Like everything's like the job he has gone. Like he grew up really poor. He doesn't come from wealth, and all of a sudden he gets like the bite of like success, and he kind of gets like taken by like that. And like, so it's a very like humbling human movie of like, you're watching this guy like, try to make it, then he makes it kind of, then he's trying to make more out of it, and then like, it's just, and then the circus, it's super entertaining.
I think my favorite part was he's this guy with a vision of bringing a circus or bringing the greatest show to America, and everyone just laughs at him.
Yeah.
And then, not to give too much away, I'll end it here, but literally he builds this amazing experience, puts all his money into it, and he's just like, I'm going to be rich now. I'm set, right? And no one shows up. It reminded me of my feeling, like, not that we uploaded a YouTube video, and part of me was like, gonna blow up, and then it's like 2 views, 7 views, 9 views. That's it. It's just like, no one cares until you give them a reason to care.
Of course, yeah.
People need to get invested. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you have anything else on that?
No, I would say pretty much that's it. It's just, you get a lot of goosebumps.
Yep. Yeah, so this is a top 10 movie of mine. Greatest Showman it's easily in the top 50. Where would you put it in yours? Top?
I was probably talking about it for a month after seeing it, and I think I've done that with that movie and probably Frozen.
Yeah,
so
and she made a guy.
Probably top 5.
She made a guy we work with, Mark, a bartender, watch it, and if Mark likes it, it's a good movie. I think that's the Mark scale.
Yep. How many
Yeah, how many marks? The other one is Shawshank Redemption.
Yep.
And that's top 10, if not top 5. I love the story. It's about a guy. I'll just try and give you what you would see in the preview. He's falsely accused of murder and basically sentenced to life in prison. And I just relate to it because for my 20s and mid 30s, I felt like I was falsely accused of different things and put in a box. And I worked at multiple jobs where I couldn't get ahead, and I felt like I wasn't any good at anything. And then, well, you got to watch the movie and see what happens. But it is inspirational. Morgan Freeman, Tim Robbins, you got to check it out. So that's why that one's up on the wall. So basically the premise, how it started out on YouTube, like it wasn't really well thought out. I basically just...
but you gotta... I feel like a lot of people don't even create their channels because they try to think it out too much.
Yep. I've also heard that said. It's called paralysis by analysis.
Yeah.
If you overthink anything, it's not going to happen. You're going to freak yourself out and you're not going to do it. You give me your favorite movie or TV show that you've ever watched, and I could pick it apart for you. And I could give you 10 reasons it would never work. But what did those people do? Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, Star Wars. They did it.
Yep.
And a lot of things need to fall in line. First, you got to find a Bree. Then you got to find an Andy. They're out there. But
no, I bet a lot of people can just do them themselves, but
you can do it yourself, but I think there's a lot to be said about a support system.
Yep.
And that, so when I started this channel, I reached out, I'm sure I've lost friends over it, or friends and family. I post on it weekly. And I'm sure if you're not interested in what I'm doing, it's annoying.
Yeah.
And you can delete me or block me. It's not even personal. But it's not going to stop me from putting out what I want to put out, and that's going to bring in people with similar values and interests.
Yep.
So where I was going with the first YouTube episode, it was like, all right, it's a vlog, it's a cooking show, it's weight loss. So what we did over time is kind of separated those. And for me, the big thing was the weight loss. I would have to look at the numbers. I think I was over 250 when we started this. What am I at now? 227. So I was getting bigger every year. And I also heard a statistic. If you just maintain the same diet, same everything, after the age of 30, the average person puts on about 5 pounds a year. So unless you're paying attention to that, it can get out of control. So I was sick of my clothes not fitting well. When you got a gut, everything's baggy, your pants don't fit right around your shoes, you got a gut hanging out, it's uncomfortable. And really where I was like, enough's enough, I was 37 years old and I got gout.
For sure?
Yeah. It's, I didn't know what gout was. I thought that's what old people got, or I was like, or if you're just grossly obese. And it's basically like an arthritis type thing where it feels like you stubbed your big toe worse than you ever had. And you can get it in your hands, you can get it in your feet, but and then I looked up causes for gout, and the prime one is bad diet and obesity. And I was not morbidly obese, but obese. And that was really the turning point for me is, I wasn't even 38 yet. I was 37. It's time to analyze my diet and be active more on a daily basis. So that's where the weight loss came into play, that I wanted to lose the weight. The goal is 80 pounds in 1 year. I'm almost down 20 pounds. We're in April. And how did I gain the weight? I think a lot of people gain the weight through depression. Like at a certain point you try, if things don't go your way, I went 5 years without exercising. I just stopped caring. I was like, I gain weight, I lose weight, I don't care. And for me, the big thing was I had a traveling sales job where I felt like they didn't care about me. They sent me to Chicago for training. Supposed to be 6 months of training, turned into 17 months of training. And then I was supposed to get a 6-figure job back in Minnesota. The CEO was fired. A new CEO came in, said, we're still going to keep you on, but the Minnesota thing's not going to happen. We have openings in Texas, Alaska, Arizona. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to a new place in my 30s where I know no one and start over. So I had multiple traveling sales jobs. You get a corporate credit card. I was eating steak every night, fried chicken, and then you work with all this stress of meeting your sales goals. And I worked with those sales guys. I'm not saying every sales guy is like this, but a lot of them, they have a stressful job at night. They'll eat a steak, fried food, and these sales guys would have 10 or 15 drinks a night. And it just, to me, is a unhealthy lifestyle. I myself need a place to call home, definitely a home base. So these people that travel, live out of hotel rooms, if you like that sort of thing, great. Like, have you ever known anyone to live on the road or?
Well, I mean, like, van life is a big thing, and especially during quarantine, a lot of people just, packed up and lived in a van. I think people do it and do great things, but I have had friends say that they don't regret when they did do that and lived out a really cool, like, up-to-date, spacious vans, but there's a mental thing that they said that it does to you where, like, not having, like, a place to, like, root yourself just kind of, like, wears on you.
Yeah, I need at least a little bit of space. I could never live in a van or a tiny home.
Right.
Like, I can't have the living room, bedroom, kitchen be the same room. Like, I need a little bit of space. I don't know how those people in New York do it or whatever, and that's an advantage of being here in Minnesota. I mean, you're 26, you just bought your first home. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath? Mm-hmm. How was that experience?
Stressful. I mean, I guess buying your first home and like a death of a parent so buying your first home and your death of your parents is the top 2 most stressful things people ever experience in their life.
I didn't hear that. I thought it was public speaking.
No, I guess like that's a statistic, and it was very stressful, but I'm glad like I did it. There was, I think, everything in your life, like you said, analysis by paralysis. Like, you can always just like...
Paralysis by analysis.
Yeah, thank you. There's like just a million things you can think how something's going to happen, and it doesn't always happen like that. And in this situation, the people I was renting from were going to sell in 2 months, where we thought instead we were going to re-up a renter's, a rent from them.
Rental agreement?
Yeah, rental agreement. And, we weren't also surprised because we didn't sign up for more than a year. And we, didn't also want to rent. So in the area we're in a very beautiful town, Monticello, and it's a very growing town for families. So it's a kind of hot spot for people looking to want to buy. So we're in a crazy seller's market. And a lot of people were, the only way they were buying their houses were with offering no inspections. And I think that was just something I wasn't willing to do. So luckily the other day I saw a for sale by owner sign, and I went and talked to him. And
well, I think the other thing is, so places are going on the market.
Yep.
And if they're going on the market for $250, they're going for $300.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a great price. All the sellers right now are expecting a bidding war.
Oh yeah, no, there's plenty of homes I walked into and they priced it so low because that draws in bidding wars.
Yeah, so we've been hearing any house that goes up, there's 5, 10, multiple offers. And we have friends of ours that were recently buying a house. They came in $100,000 over asking, but they had one contingency. So because they had
on their current home
to sell, which it would have,
Yep.
they took another offer. So it's just a crazy time.
Yeah. Crazy. And then I still bought a house. But for a first time homeowner, you can't get too over your head.
Well, I think you came out incredibly lucky. Mm-hmm. A house came out which kind of met your criteria for first home. Mm-hmm. And then we see for the for sale by owner, and she took me along to look at the house, and it happened to be a family friend.
Or, yeah, someone who knew me growing up as a kid. So, just very genuine guy.
Yeah.
Just the most.
No, I was
amazing experience. I showed up to get my, just to go see, his place. And he just, from the very beginning, you could tell he just took care of the house. He took care of everything about that house. And he also was just that person that if something broke, he knew how to fix it and then some. Like, he does have a background in engineering, and so a lot of the stuff, like...
And he's going to be on the vlog.
Everyone will
nice
meet
man.
Joe.
Just a nice man.
And I didn't have to get into it anymore. It's a beautiful place, and
she's already told me about all the things she wants to.
Yep, there's a lot of like, I'm just glad like the house itself has good bones and works. Like, there's nothing I have to worry about, like septic tanks or water heaters, or what's the one thing he told me? What's that heating thing? People tell.
Oh, the furnace?
Yeah, he's like, do not let anyone tell you that this furnace needs to get replaced.
Yeah, to just give you an example of how awesome this guy is. He's like, I thought this part would go out in the furnace, the thermocouple. So he bought 2 of them. Bree has a lifetime of thermocouples.
And he showed me, he even walked through and taught me like how to replace it or how he replaced it. He bought a new switchboard.
Yep.
He said it's like, I guess he's worked with switchboards before, so it was nothing fancy, but it gets the job done.
In the 15 years he's lived there was one leak from the bathroom. And he said, I fixed the leak and I could have covered the hole and painted over it.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to bullshit you. And if there's ever another problem, you have easy access. But it's fixed.
Yep.
Just in case there's a problem, it's here. It's the one problem. And on top of that, you're going to get a home inspection. And I told Bree, I would have bought the house. So you're going to be able to put your touch on the kitchen, the bathrooms, and it's going to be a real nice place for you to live as long as you want to until the next place.
Yeah, efficient place. Like, just an efficient, like, home. Like...
Yeah. So I will tell everyone about you. Do you want to just touch on like how you met me or like how we even...
We already did that in the one video I was in.
Well, this is a podcast.
Oh, okay.
This is a different thing.
We met in a previous restaurant we worked in.
Where?
In Albertville.
At D. Michael B's.
At D. Michael B's. And we were both just servers, and we would just like goof around a lot. We could tell we had like a lot of the same humor, and both just kind of like at the same time like what, like, we don't want to be at this restaurant. And then luckily another opportunity came along where we got to go to Trails because of our general manager John hired us there, and then Justin got to do what he loves to do, bartend, which he was not happy at D. Michael B's because he was only a server, and they had hired him to be bartender, but he was only serving. And then I also got to learn a lot of managing at Trails and bartending, and now we both kind of do bartending, managing, serving, and just there. And then YouTube, you already touched on that.
Yeah, I just...
Both very athletic, but both have like wanted that support from a person, or I guess, yeah, like we're each other's person to support each other and to do our like dreams and to think bigger about ourselves when maybe we don't.
Yeah, like I was just in a really weird place, like came out of a bad relationship, and I'm not in a relationship now, but just to have you, like someone solid to talk about things with, is instrumental, and just basically to have each other's backs, like you said, in goals. I think a big thing has been goal setting. So
yeah, goal setting. Yeah.
So when I met her 2.5 years ago, I had a credit score of 550. I think yours was low 600s, and it was something we talked about like before we were even friends. And I said I want to improve that, so I did the research on credit cards, things like that, and I've grown helped you, and I've grown my credit score to the mid 600s, and yours over that, enough to buy a house. I mean, 2 years ago, I went to qualified for a television.
Same.
And
I mean, because of, we, and like, the I don't know, I never get really taught this in school for some reason. It sounds so silly. I thought I knew what I was doing by opening credit cards and having them pay themselves off, and all of a sudden it seems like if either you set something up wrong, and all of a sudden that can really hurt you. And Justin went through the housing crisis of 2006, or the market. What was that?
We'll do that. That's a long story.
Okay.
But yeah, I've made a lot of bad decisions in my life, and housing was one of them. And now I helped Bree make another bad decision on housing. So we'll see how that goes.
Better or not.
But I feel like over time, and you had good people consulting you, and it's a sound investment. But I was young and doing it on my own, and where I lost big on my first house, and I'll touch that later, I actually purchased in a unsafe neighborhood. And
could you silence your phone, please?
wow, that was a rookie move. And I'll just turn it off. And that's why I lost out big on my first house. I didn't do the proper research. And when I buy again in the next couple years, I'll research it to the most extent I can and lean on people that know what they're doing. But you have your mom, and the biggest benefit Bree has in buying her first home, you've lived here your entire life.
Yeah.
So it's not like and she bought in the same neighborhood I live. I've been here 2 years. There's no crime. The neighbors are friendly. We know the neighbors' names. They play with your dog. The dogs get along. It's just a situation I can't imagine you'll get hurt on. And it's a sound investment for your future to do bigger and better things. You had said something earlier that I wanted to touch on, that basically you were saying to not think negatively. And this is kind of a new thing I've been living my life by the last couple years, is when things got really bad for me, and we'll get into that in the future, was in my 20s and mid 30s. And I started thinking I was a loser and I didn't deserve a career, and I was too dumb, not good looking enough. And if things don't go well, I'll lose my house. If things don't go well, I'll lose my job. What happened? I lost my relationship. I lost my job. I lost my home. I stayed on my friends' couches for 2 years. And I was never going to get out of that until literally meeting some people in you at D. Michael B's, where I started to feel like myself again. And the weird thing is, so I went to St. Cloud State, and I went for international business. I have a degree in international business and a minor in Spanish. And why did I do that? Because that's the degrees my dad and my brother got. And it might work for some people to just follow someone else's dream, or follow, everyone wants to follow the safe path, right?
Yeah.
Or we're all brought up saying school, college, career, kids, what's next? Death. It's inevitable, and I know you don't like I talk about it, but we're all gonna die, and you have
Talk about it a lot.
you have a limited amount of time. And if you think you're gonna really do what you wanna do when you're 55 or 65, it's probably not gonna happen. You could drop dead of a heart attack at 62. And then, I get it, you have a family, like things go on, and a lot of people are comfortable with that. Just like doing what you're supposed to do, right? I don't break the law, but I don't really wanna do just what everyone else does. So I'll make a point, I'll get to a point here. I promise. So I was 19 years old. I'd always liked restaurants. Like bartenders and servers always seemed fun. They always seemed like just fun people. People like to talk to them. So My job was terrible then. I was working at like a tanning salon and Walmart. And I watched the movie Cocktail with Tom Cruise.
Still haven't seen that movie.
Oh, well, I'm going to make you watch it. That's the next one that's going up over here. And I'd always, as a kid, watched Go to Bartending School. I'll tell you, that's 100% bullshit.
Yeah.
You just need to get a job in a restaurant. And if you're a hard worker and friendly and honest, with enough time and you being dedicated and consistent, you can bartend. So, positive thinking, all this, right? So I go in to Red Lobster in St. Cloud and I apply for a server. I literally said, I'll serve, I'll host, I'll wash dishes. I just want to work here. And previous to that, I had sold books. Like I had just gotten done selling books door to door for a summer. That's a whole nother podcast. So he interviewed me. He was interviewing like 10 people, a lot of them with bartending experience, and he was going to hire 2. So I interviewed with him, Troy, and he was going to make his decision by the end of the week. This is no bullshit. This is one of my favorite stories. The next day, I'm driving my car, and I see a girl stalled at a stoplight. I pull over. I go, "What's wrong?" She said, "My car just turned off." I said, just steer. I'll push your car. Just pull it off to the side. She's like, "Oh my God, thank you." And I was like, "Oh, no problem." Like, honestly, no problem. Just help people. Like, right? It's not a big deal. Exactly. So I go, "Do you have anyone you could call?" She's like, "I don't have my cell phone." So I helped her call whatever. They got there. Whatever. I think her dad came. Helped her out. Jumped her car. Whatever. So I got a call for a second interview the next week on Monday. Interviewed with him. He's like, "I like your work ethic." Basically, I'll never forget what he said. "I can train anyone to pour a drink. I can't train anyone to work hard or follow instructions." Mm-hmm. And I feel like you can do that. So I was like, wow, I got the call back for this. Then the thing, I was like, oh man, I'm going to be a host, or I don't care if he makes me a cook. He goes, "You like bartending?" And I was like, "I'd love to be a bartender someday." He's like, "Well, I don't think I want you as a server or a host." He's like, "How about bartender?" And I was like, "Are you kidding?" He's like, "No." He's like, "We'll train you everything." He's like, "I like your hard work." So I just think like, wow, like I nailed that interview. That was awesome. I go to work for my first day. I'm working, I'm training in. Who comes up to me? The girl that I helped with her car.
Aww.
And she goes, "Hey." She's like, "What's your name?" I was like, "Justin." She's like, "My God, thank you so much for helping me out that day. I was so stressed out." She said, "I'm a server here. I've been serving here 3 years.
That's awesome.
I saw you come in. I told the general manager, hire him. He's a good guy."
Aww.
Cassie. Yeah. Like, how crazy is that?
Yeah.
And I told my brother that. He's like, things like that have happened to me, and like they happen for a reason. So
yeah.
the only reason I bring up that story is then I graduated. I did everything you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. I got sales jobs. I got corporate jobs. I did that, so I would have been 22. I did it for 14 years. I had maybe 6, 7 different jobs. Worked at one 5 years, one 2 years, 3 years. And I was depressed the whole time. Mm. And I'm not that good of a salesman. And I'll tell you the main reason I'm not a good salesman. I don't like to lie to people. Yeah. And I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. If you don't need it, I'm not going to sell for you. Yeah. And I hate pushing people. Yeah. I was follow up on it. Make them make a decision. Oh, they said this. Say this to make the sale. It's all bullshit. It's all pushy, making people uncomfortable that they've spent enough time with you that they have to buy. Please subscribe. No, but it made me uncomfortable. Sales make me uncomfortable. You see me as a bartender, the managers might not love it, but I'm always there, but I'm not always pushing for you to buy the most expensive thing, the most expensive bottle of wine. You come in, I'm providing a service. I want you to have a good time. Yep. So I go through all that.
That's what we would want.
Yeah. So I go through all that. I was horribly depressed. And then I was like, fuck it. I have this 4-year degree. in business, I hate what I'm doing. I thought, hey, maybe I could sell a new vodka, a new tequila, a new invention. Those jobs don't go to just anyone. It's a few people, and then they get the minions and pay them the minimum amount to push it. And you're dealing with douchebag sales managers. I was like, fuck it. Like, I can live on a $30,000 a year budget bartending, all serve tables. Guess what? At the end of my day, I do a good job at the restaurant. No one's calling me. No one's asking, was this done? Where's your sales perspective? There's none of that. And then once I decided on that, I went back. Within 2 years, I'm at D. Michael B's. I meet you. Then I meet John. I wasn't getting any hours at that previous job. I was basically penniless. Brings me into this other opportunity. There's an opportunity to grow the business. Gives me bartending shifts. Gives you bartending and serving shifts. Great guests. Great owner. Great general manager. And within a couple years, your life can turn around. And I'm just thankful to meet you, Andy, John, Steve. And I could go on to another topic, but I mean, we're closing in at an hour. Is there anything you'd like to say?
I don't know what you mean by, I mean, we are closing.
I'll turn off the watch next time.
No, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah.
I think it was good.
I didn't plan on tearing up. That was stupid.
That was a good story.
Okay.
Why?
So I wanted to tell that story.
Don't be upset.
Okay. I wanted to tell that story. I look forward to these podcasts. I am opening up my email because in the future I want this to be a back and forth conversation.
We should get on Discord because I've heard that's
Okay.
really good for back and forth. With
Okay.
people.
I was going to say my email, but why don't you just, if you have something you want us to talk about or you have a question, comment in the comments below and we'll cover it. And we will catch you next week.